West Town, it's your boy Big B from the Blow, man. You can't mention the Blow without putting a B in the real West Side, baby, for sure. Yeah, that's me. I'm back at y'all with another one as usual. But this time, man, we checking out mental. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to put this thing into perspective. How can you take the most vulnerable people of your population, lock them into this perpetual incarceration with this law that you have called the Senate Bill 440. And if you ain't familiar with the Senate Bill 440, in 1992, I think it was a part of the crime bill, you know what I'm saying? But back in 1992, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton was influenced, the House and the Senate also, was influenced by a dude named John DeDrulio or something like that. I might be wrong, but they was influenced by a guy. And this guy told them that children from the age of 13 to 17 were the worst of the population at this time, that said that this was a super predator generation where we was gonna do all the most heinous and the most destructive of the population. You know what I'm saying? We was the worst of the generations. So they say the best way to curb this problem is to create this bill, the Senate Bill 440, where you can try these children as adults. Now, mind you, these are children, ages 13 to 17, children, you know? And so you can try these children as adults and give them an adult sentence. If the crime is aggravated assault, they can get a 10-year aggravated assault sentence. If the crime is murder, they can get a life sentence. If the crime is armed robbery, they can get the 20-year sentence. Everything that an adult can get, a juvenile can get at this point. That's what this law was. And to put the icing on the cake, not only were you a child who, if you would have committed these crimes under juvenile jurisdiction, you would have been sent to a juvenile detention with other children. But with the Senate Bill 440, instead of you being placed with other children, you're being placed with adults. You know, you go from the juvenile, which is the RYDC, you go from that, you get bound over to adult court. You receive an adult sentence, and then you go to an adult prison. You know, now that was the Senate Bill 440 law did. I was a victim of the Senate Bill 440 law. At the age of 14, I received a life sentence for murder and did 26 years on the life sentence. I am still serving the life sentence. Now, the life sentence mean exactly that, life. I just so happen to make parole, but I am continuously serving life on parole out here in society. But there's many setbacks that come along with that law. You know, though they may have felt like they was being tough on crime and were doing something to generally help the public or whatnot, or to continue our path down the road of just legal segregation, you know what I'm saying? Legally excluding black people still, because that law is disproportionately used amongst the black community, you know what I'm saying? Because it targets the black community, our kids, you know what I'm saying? And by me being a victim of it, I still have a lot of hang-ups where I'm trying to reintegrate myself with life, because when I was in prison, I grew up in prison. While I was there were no helpful tools for me. None. You know, outside of a GED, there was nothing there for me. It was more so of a warehouse. You wasn't teaching me nothing but how to live today. Hope I can make it to tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got from the Georgia Department of Corrections. And if people will look deep down within it, and you'll see that how can a child grow up in that environment, survive it, and come out unscathed? It's impossible. You know what I'm saying? It's impossible. Either two things gonna happen. Either the child gonna commit suicide, or the child gonna reoffend to be right back in the, you know what I'm saying? That's just it. Unless you surround that child or that individual with the type of support that it needs to, you know what I'm saying, navigate life. I just so happen to be blessed to have just that. And but I'm emotionally detached from life. You know, I still suffer from authority. I have an issue with authority. You know what I'm saying? Well, I hate being talked to, like talk that. You know what I'm saying? I hate that when that's normal in society. People has opinions, and you got to be able to respect people's opinion. I feel out of place sometimes. You know, I'm not a full citizen. You know what I'm saying? I can't vote. I can't find nobody that represent my views, my political views on life. You know what I'm saying? That can get in office and say, hey, we're gonna change this law because this man shouldn't be locked up continuous incarceration for a crime that happened when he was 13 years old, and there's no concrete proof that the man even committed the crime. You know what I'm saying? With that, so it's a lot that come along with it. Well, I did not develop normally as everybody else did. So my setback, I'm set way back. So I'm not trying to catch up no more. I'm just trying to catch on and try to make the best of what I got left. But that law is the reason why I'm like I am. You know what I'm saying? That law pushes a child out of exclusion in society. I can't be included in mainstream society because I'm a convicted felon as a child. So I'm no less than a slave baby being born back in the 17 and 1800s. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm just here. But you know, they neither here nor nobody understand that part. But I'm here fighting against that law. I think that law shouldn't be on the books. I think that law need to be destroyed because that law hurts our community, and they only tends to look within that law when it's sufficient for them. You know, and I'll give you a prime example of what I mean. I know it sounds like I'm talking all over the place, but it all come together. But I give you a prime example of what I mean. And I was locked up. I already had done received a life sentence. It had to be like 98, 99, not like 99. And it was a white dude, a white child named Jonathan Miller. He caught a case in Rockdale or Bullock County or something. He caught a case up there where he hit a dude at the school bus. He was a bully or whatever. He hit the dude at the school bus. The dude hit his head. He died, whatever. And they ended up arresting Jonathan Miller for the murder. And in the newspaper, a black publicist, you know what I'm saying, a black columnist, you know what I'm saying, said instead of saving the prison cell for using the prison cell for Jonathan Miller, we need to save the old prison cell for the little bees of the world. You don't have no concrete evidence that I committed no crime. You know what I'm saying? Only thing you got is the narrative of what the media said. You know what I'm saying? This very person that's saying for the little bees of the world are the very people that convicted me because everything was circumstantial. You know what I'm saying? Nothing was physical connected to me at all. You know, and she said that, I read that in the newspaper, and I'm like, dang, you don't even know my circumstances, but you a black woman writing in this article that this prison cell need to be saved for the little bees of the world. The only thing Jonathan Miller needs is some counseling. I've been surviving in a war zone my whole life. You talking about only thing Jonathan Miller needed some counseling and I deserve a prison cell? I didn't ask for this life. I didn't ask to be a child born to the bluff. I didn't ask to be taught a street etiquette. I didn't ask to be taught of the street life. I ain't asked for none of that. You know what I'm saying? My environment gave me that. My parents, the people, the society itself gave me that. I ain't asked for none of that. You know what I'm saying? And then at 13, how much can you hold me responsible for? You know what I'm saying? At 13, you won't allow me to go cast a vote to pick somebody that I say represent me. You say, no, you ain't old enough. You don't really understand what this is all about. That's what you tell me by law. You know what I'm saying? But then when it comes time to a crime, all of a sudden I'm grown. All of a sudden I understand the consequences. I understand the trial proceeding. I comprehend all this shit now according to you. I ain't asked for none of this. I only know what your society teach me. I only know what my community teach me, what my environment has taught me. And then on top of that, you send me to prison as a child and tell me you're rectifying something where you haven't done nothing but warehouse me. And then you put me back out here in society. Thank God that I got a good support system, because you put me right back out here in society and expected me to prosper, or as the truth should, as it see fit, you know what I'm saying? Wait on me to reoffend. You know what I'm saying? But thankful for the support system that you ain't got to worry about the reoffending, because that ain't going to happen. I'm going to try to navigate this shit and I'm going to overcome this situation. But there's nothing beneficial that law has done for me or for society. That law has only hurt us. Then when it touched home with the white kids who are the parents or the constituents or the colleagues of the people that's authoring that law, or the people that authored that law, now you want to go to talking about the psychology of a child. You want to go to talking about rational decision making and use science to prove that a child is not responsible for certain actions. A child is irrational. You got all this scientific proof. They're saying that a child is not maturing until the child is 21, and you got proof of this. Now you want to use it to try and help these kids, these young white kids, just putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? When they catch the cases, not everybody get involved with it. I've been sitting there riding in prison the whole time saying this same thing. You know what I'm saying? I've been screaming this same thing. But when it hit home, then you want to pay attention to it. When it hit home to your people and your community, then you want to pay attention to it. You know what I'm saying? But still didn't wipe the law of the book. You know what I'm saying? The only thing y'all did was take the life without parole away for certain ones. But then you gave them forever from now on, except the ones that it helped it. You know what I'm saying? The constituents, the friends of the people that authored the bill, you know. But, man, that bill is horrible. It don't help. It don't work. You're responsible for what you teach your child. So if you got a federal government that is allowing your child to be exposed to all this violence through music, through television, through the depiction of art, it's all around you. You know, even through history, even if you're reading the history of the American experience, you know what I'm saying? It's violent. You know what I'm saying? So if a child is exposed to that and a child start acting in a manner of which you have of the things that you have exposed them to, then how can you hold them responsible? How? If you took a child and you put a child in a room when they were born, and nothing else went in that room with that child but everything that you allowed to go in that room with that child gonna come out knowing everything that you have taught him. Not what they know of the world, but everything that you have taught him. right? That's a proof. That's a fact. That's a fact that we know. If that child come out that room and do anything other than what he already know, then how can we hold that child responsible? He only doing what he know. He only doing what he know. So how can we hold him responsible? I'm just saying, man, that law just ain't right, man. I think we need to do something about it, man. It's too many kids suffering from that law. It's too many kids that done suffer from that law, that done turned into teenagers, that done turned into adults, that are now old men. Still in prison fighting that law. And then if they get out now, probably never catch up. You know what I'm saying? Can't do never catch on with the little life that they got left. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, man, I'm against that Senate Bill 440, man. I think that law was the worst law ever put on the book, man. Little beef from the blood, man.